Hi guys, so my name is Peter, and in this video, I will be talking about my transition from female to male, and I will also be talking about some feelings of doubt while in my transition. A question that a lot of trans people get is, when did you know that you were trans? Or when did you know that you were a girl instead of a boy, or a boy instead of a girl? Boy instead of a girl in my case. One of the like first things that I could remember to answer that question is when I was younger. I had a really close friend, and I went over to her house for a sleepover, and there was a whole bunch of girls over there, like only girls, because it was a sleepover, and they're watching a Barbie movie on their TV, and everybody was sitting around, like all the moms and stuff, and I was like the only person who was just not interested. And they had there's bugs, we got ants. Anyway, there were some, like in the kitchen, they had like a table of like snacks and goodies and everything because it was a party, and I just remember shoving handfuls of M&Ms in my mouth and just like not paying attention to the movie because I didn't like it. And so that, when I was younger, I thought, oh, maybe I'm just a tomboy. I just don't like that. But now I'm just like, well, maybe that's saying something. And then I remember when I was in sixth grade in middle school, um, I would draw a mustache on my face with a black marker and just walk around with a mustache like I wanted a mustache. And I remember in PE in the girls' locker room that the coach came up to me and he was like, "This girl just thought that that you were a dude in the girls' locker room," and I laughed and was like, "Oh man, you know." And I never thought, I never said, "Oh no, like I'm a girl." Like it was like denying that she thought I was a boy, but I just thought I was just a kid, playing around or whatever. I guess experimenting is what people would say. And I never thought anything wrong of it. And until my parents, they had a parent teacher conference at my school, and the coach came up to me and was like, "Hey, Mustachio." And my mom was like, "Why are you calling her that?" And then she said, "Oh, well, she likes to draw a mustache on her face, and this girl in the locker room thought that she was a boy." And right then and there, my mom was like, "No, this is not." People trying to call me. Anyway, and my mom was like, "Nope, that's not what we do as females." And I just remember being so confused, like it's just a must. Like I didn't understand why I couldn't do that. And so, also in about eighth grade, I remember, I think it was seventh or eighth grade, but I remember like binding for the first time, and I had just like an ace bandage wrap, which you're not supposed to do because it can mess up your ribs. But I just remember wrapping it around me and then putting a clothespin to close it. And I remember being flat, like flatter than I was because I was in seventh grade, and I've always been small in my chest area. But I liked the pressure and the not being flat. And so that was the first time that I'd ever binded. And so once I got into high school, it became a problem because that was when I grew up very religious. My parents were Jehovah's Witnesses. And that's when they said you need to start being more feminine and acting more like a girl. And by that point, I was already I was in that stage of rebelling. Like I was like 15, 16, and at that age, like you don't want to do anything that your parents tell you to do. So, and I was like, "Are you serious? Like, couldn't you have just like it would have made more sense for them to tell me, hey, you need to act more like a girl when I was younger, and I could be more manipulated versus when I was older and I already had ideals of my own, and I did not want to do anything that my parents told me to do." But when you're young, people, they don't really, care because they're like, "Oh, they're a kid, they're not hurting anybody or whatever." And so but from then on, it just got downhill. And like I said, my parents are really religious, and I remember whenever we would go to church, the men wore pants and the women had to wear skirts, or dresses, and I remember hating that. Like, I hated having to wear a dress or a skirt, and as soon as I would get home, I would just take off all my clothes and then just put on some basketball shorts or some pants and then a shirt, and just be so happy and comfortable. And I actually, going back to elementary school, in fifth grade, I think it was fifth grade, I broke my thumb playing football with my dad, just a simple catch. And I broke my thumb, and I've always had a small bladder, and my mom was worried. It was my right thumb, and I'm right-handed. My mom was worried that I was going to not be able to work with my zipper and piss myself, basically. So, instead of just letting me wear basketball shorts to school, or like sweatpants or something that didn't have a zipper, I had to wear a dress. But I didn't have to. I couldn't. I had to go all out. I had to wear a skirt. I had to wear a blouse. I had to wear heels or flats because I couldn't wear sneakers with a dress. Even though there was this girl that would wear sneakers with a dress all of the time, and I was so upset. And it wasn't until like I was in middle school that I realized, are you serious? I could have worn shorts and been completely fine. And I was just so frustrated, and I hated that. Like when I went to school, I would never, like, there was no wearing like dresses or anything. And so um back into going into high school, so it was ninth grade. I'm trying to remember, but I just remember like my friend that I'd been friends with since like sixth grade, Andy. Um, they are, I don't know if they're non-binary, but sometimes I guess they are. Either they feel sometimes they're more masculine, sometimes they're more feminine. Um, they came out to me as transgender or told me about transgender, and I was like, well, what's that? And so then I looked it up and I watched videos on here, and I just, okay, wow, this is me. This is how I feel. And so, there's so much ants. So, from then on, like, I was like, I know, who I am and who I want to be and who I feel I am. And so, but as my parents, for being religious, I knew that most likely they were not going to accept me. And so, I I remember like not coming out to them for like a long time, and I remember changing my name to Ace in school and having people. I think that was 10th grade or 11th grade. I think it was 11th grade for me. Yeah, because 11th grade is when I left from that school to a different school. But that was when like I came out as Ace, um, and the PE teacher would call me that. And I remember like writing it on like my PE folder or whatever. And my dad got super upset with me and was like, "No, you're not. Who is this? No." And so I remember one night I'm a writer, and I started writing when my parents got separated towards the end of my like fifth grade year to get out all my feelings and like try not to be so depressed and sad and everything. And so I wrote, and I wish I would have kept it, but I unfortunately I didn't. But I wrote a poem coming out to my dad as trans, and I remember handing it to him, and he read it in front of me, and I remember this look of like disgust and disappointment on his face, and it just broke my heart because like I knew like it pretty much was over. And I remember in the poem writing about wearing hoodies and basketball shorts and like Converse. And next thing I know, my mom's like throwing away my hoodies, throwing away my shorts and everything. And I was just so upset. And so my dad told my mom, of course, about it, and she was upset. And when towards the second half of no, actually, yes, it was in my second semester of high school, 11th grade year. Me and my mom moved, and so I went to a new high school, and I changed my name to Peter because I felt more of a connection with that, because I like Peter Pan and I like Peter Parker, Spider-Man. Like, I connected with those two Peters in my childhood. So I changed my name to Peter. And Um, I've felt more, like, I felt better about myself, and, I remember, like, my given name is Jesse, and I remember people would call me, this one lady at church would call me Jessica all the time, and that was not my name, and I would tell her that's not my name, and it would frustrate me so much, because to me, Jessica was just such a feminine name, and I hated it because I was not feminine, and I just did not like that. And um, I do remember, like, in high school getting called, like, the president of the itty bitty titty committee because I was small chested, and I didn't like that because it was, I don't think it was because I wanted a bigger chest, but I just wanted not to be bullied and be accepted and stuff, and people were assholes. And so, but when I moved to my new high school, like, everybody, like, all my teachers were accepting, and they called me Peter, and my theater teacher was so helpful. And my senior year was like when everything just, like, got worse, but then got better too. After I came out to my parents as trans, my mom said, if you don't, shape up and stop acting like a male and start getting back on track with our religion, then once you turn 18, I'm going to give you a month and I'm going to kick you out. And September came and October came, and then she kicked me out. And I remember going to the school, and they put me with somebody else, but living with her didn't work out, so I went back to my mom. And I was, like, crying, and I was like, I'll live as a girl again. I'll go back to your religion. But at the end of it, I just didn't. And so I got a job, and then I moved out, and then I moved in with my dad, and then I moved back, and then he kicked me out again. He kicked me out, and then I went to my last roommate's house, and now I'm here. And at my last roommate's house was when I started officially being on testosterone. And I've been on testosterone since May, the first Friday in May of last year, 2019. And it's just been great. And I'm tired, and it's hard to, like, talk and not stutter the whole video. But, and I'm this, like, kind of like my first YouTube video, but anyway, nobody cares. But I got on testosterone, and I've been on it like for about 8 months, and so my periods have stopped completely, which I'm so appreciative of that. My voice is getting deeper, getting more. I'm starting to get more facial hair. My smell has changed. My emotional well-being, like, has completely changed. Like, when I was not on testosterone, I was so emotional. Like, I would cry at and since I've been on testosterone, I've gotten a lot more tough, I guess, because there have been times where I would just think to myself, if I was not on testosterone right now, I would be crying my eyes out, and I didn't. Or sometimes I did. Like, I do still cry. And it's weird because I'll get this feeling that you can feel your eyes are watering and you're gonna cry, and I get that feeling, but I just never cry. And it's so weird, and sometimes it's stressful because crying for me has always been relief, I guess, because once I cry my eyes out, and then I can just, like, it usually, like, it's at night or something, and I just, like, pass out and, like, sleep for, like, a while, and then it's, like, good at the end of it. Let me see, because I wrote a paper down because I didn't want to be starting the entire video like I am now. And also, I've been more confident. And the thing is, like, I've never really, I don't think I've ever really, like, been like, oh, yes, I am a girl, or oh, yes, I am a boy. Like, I mean, like, when I was younger, like, yeah, I would say I'm a girl because that's what my parents were like, you are a girl. And so like I never like until like I got into high school, I never really was like, questioned that. I always just thought, oh, I'm just like a masculine girl. But like I just hated it. And I've never gotten like, I don't think I've ever really gotten hate for being a female, but I just never felt comfortable. And so, I'm trying to think of, but anyway, so, but since I've been on TV, like more like these last few months, like I've just been so much more confident, like looking and like when I have to do my hair, like before work, um, and like look in the mirror, of course, and I just like 10-15 minutes just like look like staring at myself because I just love the changes, even though some have been bad, like acne and my smell is just ugh, gotten worse. Like I just loved all of these changes. And I remember senior year of high school, I was in a play, and my theater teacher was so accepting, and she let me and then like two other trans guys use the boys' changing room instead of the girls. I just remember it was just guys are just so much more like and it was just so funny, and it was just like laughing. It was like a little bit chaotic too, but I just felt so like, okay. And like I didn't, I wasn't like looking like, oh, I want to see a dick. Like I was not like, like there's a thing where like, oh, trans women will go into the bathroom like, oh, to like look at women or whatever, but like I was not like that. So I don't think most trans people are like that, because it's more for us instead of anybody else. So I'm coming to the point where, am I 100% trans? Like, am I trans enough? Is this who I am? And I've seen videos where they've said, if you like, for like people that were not trans getting on testosterone, and they said like they felt terrible, stuff like that. But for me, like I've said, it's just been such a positive experience. But there's still some times, and I think it's because of my anxiety, which also leads to self doubt and worthlessness feelings. But there's just times where I'm just like, but what if I'm not actually like this? What if like I'm just a really masculine female? What if this? What if that? But being called my preferred name, being called he, him, being called a guy, sir, like all of that stuff helps me. And since I've been like the last couple of months, like I've just gotten more and more dysphoric about my chest. And I just want top surgery so bad. Like I just want to be able to take off my shirt and not have to put on a binder, not have to worry, are they looking at my chest or can they see my binder, and just like be able to like, just be free and not have to worry about my chest. And I don't really have any bottom dysphoria. Like I don't really like, I feel if I was born a cis man, I would be like, I have a dick, that's weird. But I'm born a female, and I look at like on my vagina like, it looks weird too. Like I don't think either is good to me. Like I don't really like look at it like aesthetics or whatever. But I have seen the Packer thing, and I have packed like once, like with socks or whatever. But I have seen like a couple of a Packer video, and looked at Packers, and I don't want a dick specifically because I don't want to have to like have anal for the rest of my life, because I am very much, I would rather be the submissive person versus the dominant person in a relationship. So that's mostly why I don't want to have a dick, but I'm not dysphoric about it. But I would like to have a Packer and have a bulge that I feel that would help me better, feel like I could pass it better. And, but it just, I mostly think it's, like, I'm not on any medicine for my anxiety and my depression right now, which is not good. But I feel that, like, I know I'm not faking it, but I feel like if I could be like, if I had to live as a female, like, I don't know. I really don't think that I would be okay. Like having to deal with the period and just having, the just I just don't it's so difficult because like I love so much of how I am right now, but I just have so much doubt that like I'm doing the right thing, and I think I always have that problem where I overthink stuff and I wonder, is this the right thing to do? And I think some of that comes from um, my parents and like being like kind of ingrained in me, like, no, this is bad. You're not supposed to be like this. But I mean, I see, people, they're like, okay, well, when you get old, you're on testosterone. When you get to be an old man, do you want to be an old person? Do you want to be an old man, or do you want to be an old woman? If you lived in the middle of the woods, would you still want to do this? And like I would, I would still want to be this way, but like be on testosterone and everything, and oh man, I'm gonna stretch because I have no idea what to say. I'm so sorry for whoever needs to watch, whoever has to watch this video, but it just I feel like I see guys that are just like I want, like I'm skinny as heck, like I'm very small, but if if I was muscular and I had beard and I had facial hair and I was passing like 100%, like I would love that shit. Like when people are just like, oh, you're handsome, or like, oh, like I just like I love that feeling and I want to be seen as a male. And the whole cabin thing is so hard because it's like I see myself as like shit. Like I have such bad self, like how I view myself. But like other people, like my friends or my family, or just strangers, like I feel better, like, like I feel like I like to be seen male versus a woman, and on the inside I feel more male than female, but I've never felt like extremely feminine in my childhood. Like I always felt more masculine, and I wanted to be a boy. And I remember playing catch with my dad, and I'd be like, why? It'd be hot. I'd want to take off my shirt, but I couldn't because I was a girl, and it was frustrating. But at the end of it, I think my feelings of not being trans enough, or like just not being trans at all, just comes with my mental issues that come with that, like my anxiety and my depression. But I'm going to try and upload on this YouTube for other stuff as well. So I know this is a very long video, and usually YouTube videos aren't this long, and it's a shitty quality most likely. But my name is Peter. I'm trans, and I'm 20, and this is who I am.